Hello guys, and this is my second video ever made. And in this video, we are going to be playing a game called Kerbal Space Program. And right now, my mouse just died, so give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Anyway, so today we are going to be building a rocket capable of getting to orbit. Now, this is not a tutorial. I'm not watching a tutorial for this. So I'm just going off my memory, basically. So first what we need to do is First what we need to do is select a crew, and we already have someone. That's nice. Alright. Now what we need to do is attach a parachute, because if we don't have a parachute, then we're not making it back. Now we need the minimum pressure to be 75 or lower, because we don't want it like deploying right away. We don't want it deploying when we're still not in the atmosphere, basically. That would be very, very bad. Now what we need to do is we probably aren't going to need a heat shield. That would be too heavy, like we don't want a heat shield because we won't be able to get into orbit at all. What we are going to do though is attach a propellant fuel so we can attach RCS if we need to do some RCS maneuvers while we're inside of the vacuum. And we can also add some optional science if we want to, like a magnetometer boom, which is practically only for science-based stuff, and we need a scientist to even operate some of these things, so all we're going to have is the magnetometer boom. And optionally, we can also do the mystery goo containment. Now, as another optional thing that we can do is we can attach solar panels, which I don't really think we're gonna need on this flight, but I might as well attach one anyway. Now some of this stuff is optional. I'm actually gonna remove the magnetometer boom because we don't really need it in this situation. Let's just add that. Now what I'm gonna do is add a decoupler. Now the decoupler is only going to be used for when all of the rocket stages are used and we're in orbit. Now for this one we might not want to actually be in orbit, so I'm actually going to move this over here and attach one of these to the bottom, move this down. Now when we get in orbit we can deorbit ourselves instead of making some costly maneuvers. Optionally, we can add some radial parachutes because our spacecraft might actually be too heavy now to be held up by this parachute. So we're gonna just do that just in case. Now we're gonna add the decoupler here. So now that all of the stages are used, we don't need that part of it anymore. Now we are going to build our second stage, or our third stage, which is going to be this part. You can optionally use any of the thrusters that are like swivel or relent, but I would most likely use swivel in this situation because we have a lot of fuel. Now we're gonna add another thing because this is our third stage, because this was actually this is our third stage. Up here is our third. This is our second. So yes, this is our second. Now we're gonna work on our first. Our first stage is gonna be pretty big because it has to carry us all the way to the orbit. Now you might be saying, well, isn't this a little bit too overkill to be orbiter rocket? Maybe. I don't care though, cause we're gonna add another. That's the wrong type, but can I get this out of my screen? All right, and now that we've gotten this, we have to somehow make it so that. Actually, I'm gonna remove this. I think that's a little bit overkill. We have to somehow make it more stable. You know what makes anything more stable? Aerodynamics. We need some winglets. Now I would actually do this first. So we're gonna add radial decouplers, 2 on each side, or just 2, because this is probably not enough to get us to orbit. So now we're gonna add some side rockets. I think this is a little bit overkill, but oh, these are solid fuel, aren't they? Yeah, I can't turn this off. So actually, we're going to use the shrimp. There is a reason we're using shrimp for this, because if we use anything else, it's probably going to be overkill and a little bit too much. Alright, now that we got our shrimp thing, yes, I did do the thing where I have to place it down, but optionally you can add a parachute on these. I wouldn't though, because that's a little bit too much. So what I would do is add a small cone on the top. I'm not sure they have a cone that small. Ooh, this might be tough. Very small cone. No. Tiny cone. No. Small nose cone. There we go. Now that we've got that, when these rockets fire alongside this, when they're done, it'll separate. This will go this way instead of if it's in the middle, it will try to go towards our rocket. So this is gonna push them away. And now optionally you can add some of these. I actually would though. These are pretty important because they will separate with the decoupling of our decoupler here. Now we can test out our rocket, see if it's good. I'm actually going to put down one of these because it might be a little bit too top heavy, or it might go this way because of the mystery gate. Alright, let's make sure our staging is correct. Those will decouple, then we have that, and yeah, this is perfectly fine. Alright, let's test our orbital. I almost called it an orbital strike cannon. Oh god. Why does it sound like that? Alright, let's actually wait for it to be day, because I'm not... Oh my god. Alright, it's day. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. And we have to off. There we go. Look at that. It actually works. Now, this might not even be enough to get us to orbit, but that's totally okay with me. We tried. And if it doesn't get to orbit, lucky me. Well, not lucky me. Lucky for the game, because it failed me. Now, once our shrimp is all the way used up, and we're above like to that point, we're going to cut off the engines, so we'll go a little bit higher, use our second stage, and then once we're here, we can start making the orbit. Alright. Shrimps are gone. Alright. I might have done that in the wrong order, but this. And optionally, it makes it easier. So once we're about here, we can start to turn our rocket to that area, or we can actually make a little thing here called a maneuver. Now these are very important because they let you plan out your decisions before you make them. Burn time, oof, that's a pretty big burn time. Now we're going to have our rocket turn to our maneuver point, which is going to be one of the most important things. We're actually not going to wait our entire time, so we're going to actually warp. We're going to warp to our maneuver. Now once this gets to, let's say, about a couple seconds, like 3 or 4 seconds, we're going to start the burn, and this is probably not going to be enough to get to orbit, but we tried. Alright, we're reaching it, and fire. This is not enough to get us to orbit. Ooh. Yep, that's not enough to get us to orbit. Carson, Kerman, no. Actually, we still have this. We still have a little bit of fuel left. There's no fuel flow. That's just stat. Oh, okay. Maybe we do have enough. Or we can at least try to make it to I don't know who that Kerman is. Also, yes, this is already a played on world. There's a bunch of ships in the sky. Kind of polluted the place. I don't know what else to do. Actually, we're gonna save our fuel to hopefully soften our falling. We're gonna have to point retrograde. Yeah, this is bad. I about had this guy go on EVA. You can actually see what this is doing. I don't know how you would you'd see that it's getting cold, but there we go. We're re-entering the atmosphere. Ooh, that's a scary turn. We're actually going to use the rest of our fuel to go downwards. Now we are trying to point retrograde now, but it's not working. So we're gonna have it point prograde, and we're dead. We're dead. Deploy, 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 deploy. He's dead, he's dead, he's dead. Okay, well, we didn't make it to orbit, but we saved Carson Kerman, and he's going to float a happy life in the middle of the ocean, 90 kilometers, 90.1 kilometers away. This is weird. Well, we tried. Thank you for watching the video, and have a great rest of your day. Yay!